The stars above burned like cold embers, distant suns casting pale light across a galaxy teetering on the brink of silence. Humanity had fought long and hard, its fleet scattered, its colonies lost one by one to the relentless advance of the Cytherian Armada, an alien intelligence whose reach extended across 1,000 systems. In the void between worlds, the last human forces retreated, battered and weary, their courage barely sustaining the flame of survival. Amidst the shadows of derelict space stations and shattered warships, a signal pulsed faintly, a heartbeat of resistance, a whisper of defiance long buried beneath centuries of blood and ash. It was the call to awaken, the message encoded in the minds of the super soldiers. Humanity's final safeguard against extinction. Engineered in secret during the darkest years of war, they had been locked in stasis, their memories dormant, their purpose latent, waiting for the moment when the galaxy would think humanity extinguished. Below the twisted orbit of a shattered moon, a lone human commander drifted in the remains of a fallen cruiser, her hands shaking but her mind alive with determination. The Cytherians had declared her planet a tomb, her people a memory, yet even in the grip of despair, she transmitted a final beacon, a pulse of coded light that spread like ripples through the void. It reached the hidden citadels, resonating through the slumbering minds of the super soldiers. Stirring them from centuries of dreamless sleep, one by one, their eyes ignited with recognition. Muscles flexed under the weight of decades, bodies awakened with precision and power, minds scanning the cosmos with clarity and calculation. They were not simply soldiers, they were humanity distilled to its essence, strength, intellect, and unyielding resolve incarnate. And in that awakening, the galaxy itself seemed to shiver. Far above, the remnants of the human fleet watched the Cytherian warships converge. Shadows of immense alien vessels eclipsed distant suns, their weapons glinting with deadly promise. The humans were few, their ships scarred, their crews weary, yet a quiet confidence settled over the fleet. A whisper carried in the code of the super soldiers, humanity was far from finished. The first to move was not a fleet, nor a general, but a single figure emerging from the stasis chambers aboard a forgotten orbital fortress. His armor bore the marks of ages yet gleamed with lethal sophistication. Every motion radiated readiness, every glance measured the void with cold calculation. He stepped forward, and the silence of space seemed to bow in respect, and then the others followed, awakened from their slumber, filling the corridors and hangars with the sound of human determination. They were a living history of battles long fought, of sacrifices remembered, of victories that had been nearly lost to memory. Each one carried the legacy of humanity's defiance in their veins, the unbroken line of a species that refused to kneel. Outside, the Cytherian Armada advanced, confident in their dominion. Their ships, vast and alien, moved with terrifying precision, their sensors scanning for life forms to extinguish. But they could not detect what slept within the hidden fortresses, the eyes that now glowed with the fire of humanity's final vengeance. A storm was coming, a reckoning the galaxy had never anticipated. The super soldiers moved as one, their strategy honed by both instinct and memory, their assault a ballet of destruction that transformed the void into a canvas of human brilliance. Alien vessels disintegrated under concentrated volleys, their shields buckling against weapons designed by minds that had mastered every form of war known to mankind. The galaxy watched as humanity, thought extinct, struck with precision, intelligence, and unmatched resolve, and as the last Cytherian warship faltered, its systems torn by impossibly coordinated strikes, the survivors of humanity looked to the void and saw not an enemy, but a reflection of their own unbreakable will. They had fallen once, and now they had risen, more than flesh and metal. They were the embodiment of human perseverance, the echo of a species that would never be silenced, and in the quiet aftermath. As the stars once again twinkled with indifferent beauty, the super soldiers gazed outward, guardians of a galaxy that had underestimated them, ready to reclaim the future that was always theirs. The Cytherian Armada, confident and relentless, swept across the systems with the arrogance of inevitability. Planets fell in silent succession, their populations extinguished before they could even comprehend the arrival of the alien intelligence. Cities turned to ash, fleets shattered like glass beneath calculated strikes, and yet, beneath the shadow of despair, humanity's last bastions clung stubbornly to life, on the outskirts of the destroyed colony world Lyra 9, a small squadron of human frigates moved like ghosts through the debris of shattered moons. Their hulls bore the scars of countless engagements, and their crews carried the weight of centuries in their eyes. Among them, Captain Alara Kane stood on the bridge of the starship Resolute, her fingers brushing the console as if willing the ship to endure. She knew the Zytherians believed humanity broken, their fleets annihilated, their spirit crushed. She knew they were wrong. The beacon she transmitted days ago had already reached its hidden recipients. Far beyond the immediate theater of war, in a forgotten orbit around a dead star, the super soldiers stirred. Their awakening was a symphony of precision, limbs flexed, sensors calibrated, minds flooded with memories of every campaign ever fought by humanity. They were the culmination of the species' ingenuity, trained not merely to survive, but to dominate. Each super soldier had a purpose coded deep within, an instinctive understanding of tactics, strategy, and the psychology of both human and alien adversaries. When they emerged from the stasis chambers, silence fell over the derelict stations they occupied, as if the cosmos itself held its breath. Their movements were fluid, coordinated, yet each carried the individuality of countless human experiences, a blend of intellect, courage, and resolve. Back at Lyra 9, Captain Kane and her crew sensed the shift in the cosmic balance. A new pattern of energy signatures rippled through the sectors. Faint but unmistakable, the silent march of humanity's hidden champions. Hope, long thought extinguished, flickered across the bridges of human ships, spreading from crew to crew, filling hearts with renewed determination. The Zytherians continued their assault, unaware of the storm forming beyond their sensors. They targeted colonies, eradicated resistance, and underestimated the ingenuity of a species they believed cornered. Yet the galaxy was about to witness the return of the hunted. Humanity, thought defeated, was awakening not as scattered survivors, but as a calculated, united force. Deep within the armor of the super soldiers, neural networks hummed with tactical algorithms, simulating countless outcomes in seconds. Each action, each decision, was informed by both instinct and analysis, merging human intuition with engineered perfection. They prepared silently, awaiting the moment when their emergence would shatter the assumption of alien superiority. As the Zytherian armada advanced into the sector, oblivious to the impending counterstrike, the first super soldiers boarded the fleet's outposts. Their approach was unseen, silent, a shadow moving faster than sensors could detect. Within moments, alien watch posts fell, their systems hijacked, communications scrambled, and panic began to ripple through the enemy ranks. Captain Kane received the first transmissions. Fragmented and erratic, from the boarding squads. Relief surged through her as the pieces fell into place. The fleet had not been abandoned, humanity had not surrendered. The super soldiers were here, the long-dormant warriors of old, now awakened and ready to turn the tide of the war. And as the first reports of destroyed Zytherian warships came through, humanity's scattered fleets felt a pulse of exhilaration. For the first time in decades, they no longer fought merely to survive, they fought with certainty, alongside the awakened legacy of their species. The galaxy had thought humans broken, cornered, and weak. They were about to discover that what slept was far more dangerous than anything they had faced before. The super soldiers moved with a precision that made the Zytherians' coordinated fleet seem clumsy. Entire battle groups vanished from the grid without a single warning, their energy signatures snuffed out as if erased from existence. These warriors did not merely attack, they dismantled, outmaneuvered, and anticipated every move. Alien commanders, relying on centuries of conquest experience, found themselves outpaced, outthought, and ultimately outmatched by the resurgence of human ingenuity. Across the sector, word of the super soldiers spread through intercepted transmissions. Panic rippled through the Zytherian forces like wildfire. Ships that had once advanced with ruthless confidence now hesitated. Unsure of the sudden and brutal effectiveness of a force they had long dismissed as extinct. The arrogance of the invaders became their vulnerability, their overconfidence blinded them to the true capabilities of a species that refused annihilation. In orbit around the shattered planet of Varos 12, a squadron of super soldiers initiated an orbital strike. Their approach was almost imperceptible. They navigated debris fields, asteroid belts, and the wreckage of fallen colonies as if they were extensions of their own bodies. Once within striking distance, they unleashed synchronized boarding operations, magnetic grappling hooks latching onto hulls, infiltrating alien vessels with silent, lethal efficiency. Entire warships fell to minimal human casualties, leaving the Zytherian crews in stunned disarray. Captain Kane watched the unfolding operations from the Resolute, her eyes reflecting the glow of distant explosions. Communications relayed the devastating precision of her species' hidden champions. Each super soldier's move seemed to anticipate not just tactics but psychology. Their assaults exploited fear, hesitation, and rigid hierarchy inherent in the alien command structures. It was not just a battle, it was a demonstration of human intellect and adaptability amplified to perfection. Meanwhile, on the ground, human colonies long thought destroyed began receiving clandestine supplies and reinforcements delivered by stealth craft operated by the super soldiers. Colonists, who had survived against impossible odds, emerged from hiding to witness the rebirth of humanity's reach. The morale boost was instantaneous, and whispers of hope transformed into shouts of defiance. Humanity, thought broken and scattered, was coalescing into an unstoppable force. The Zytherian High Command attempted a countermeasure, deploying a specialized fleet designed to trap and eliminate the super soldiers. Yet every maneuver they executed had been anticipated and subtly undermined by human operatives. Boarding parties infiltrated the enemy vessels before they could form a proper blockade. Sabotage and misdirection crippled engines, communications, and defenses, leaving entire squadrons vulnerable. It was not merely war, it was a display of superior strategy executed with relentless precision. In the midst of the chaos, Captain Kane issued new orders. Every human vessel, every hidden squad, every outpost was to converge upon key strategic points. The super soldiers, moving as both spear and shield, created corridors of dominance through enemy lines, allowing conventional fleets to exploit weaknesses that had been unthinkable just hours earlier. The galaxy's balance was shifting, not with the force of numbers, but through the brilliance, courage, and unyielding will of humanity, as the first Zytherian command ships were destroyed in a coordinated assault. Alien morale crumbled. The assumption that humans were a defeated species dissolved, replaced by fear, confusion, and disbelief. Across the battlefield, the stars themselves seemed to bear witness to the resurgence of a species that had refused extinction, whose cunning and bravery had now transformed survival into domination. Humanity's message was clear: the galaxy had underestimated them for the last time. And in every sector, from the depths of ruined colonies to the orbit of distant stars, the legend of the awakened super soldiers spread, signaling the dawn of a human-led reckoning that would reshape the universe forever. The super soldiers' campaign expanded beyond isolated skirmishes into a relentless push across contested space. Entire alien supply lines collapsed before they could reach their destinations, as stealth operations severed logistics and crippled infrastructure. The Zytherian forces, once confident in their superior technology, now scrambled to adapt, each failed countermeasure leaving them weaker and more disoriented. Humanity was no longer merely surviving, it was orchestrating a symphony of destruction with precision and purpose. On the barren moon of Carrion 7, a hidden human outpost served as the nerve center for coordinating super soldier strikes. Tactical screens displayed alien movements, predicted paths, and projected responses. Every calculated maneuver turned the tide of engagements light years away. The operators, veterans and engineers who had been presumed lost, executed strategies that melded instinct with the wisdom of countless simulations. Even the most advanced alien AI systems faltered when confronted with human unpredictability coupled with tactical genius. From orbital bombardments to surface infiltration, every engagement became a demonstration of human versatility. Alien dreadnoughts, designed to withstand entire fleets, were crippled by precise attacks on critical nodes and reactor cores. Boarding parties disabled command centers in minutes, neutralizing thousands of enemies without significant human losses. What the Zytherians perceived as overwhelming force was, in fact, a meticulously orchestrated display of efficiency, patience, and calculated aggression. colonial survivors, long thought scattered and powerless, began to play a pivotal role in the resurgence. They sabotaged alien garrisons from within, provided intelligence networks that mapped enemy movements, and supplied local resistance forces with weapons and equipment delivered by super soldiers. The galaxy's quiet corners became catalysts for a rising tide of rebellion, a networked resistance that transformed human ingenuity into a galaxy-wide phenomenon. The Zytherian High Command grew frantic. Orders cascaded chaotically, fleets were misdirected, and internal dissent festered as the myth of human invincibility grew. Entire sectors were abandoned without a fight, as commanders opted for retreat rather than face annihilation. Fear became a weapon that the humans wielded as effectively as their ships and soldiers, turning alien arrogance into vulnerability. In the midst of these operations, Captain Kane oversaw the coordination of both conventional fleets and super soldier units. Her presence inspired precision and audacity, and the human forces executed maneuvers that left enemy sensors reeling. Each battle was not merely fought, it was engineered, a tapestry of strategic brilliance that amplified human strengths while exploiting alien weaknesses. Across the void, whispers spread among surviving alien populations. Humanity was no longer a species to conquer, but a force that could rewrite the rules of war itself. Every engagement, every liberated world, every destroyed command vessel became proof that human ingenuity, determination, and unity were unstoppable. The galaxy's perception of humans as weak, divided, and expendable had been shattered forever. The super soldiers advanced toward the heart of the Zytherian Armada, leaving in their wake a trail of obliterated fleets, liberated colonies, and awestruck witnesses. Humanity's return was not quiet, not cautious, it was a reckoning. And as the stars themselves seemed to burn brighter in the presence of human triumph, the message was unmistakable: the galaxy had underestimated the human spirit at its peril. The final phase of the campaign unfolded as human forces converged on the Zytherian throne world, a planet shrouded in bioluminescent storms and fortified by ancient alien technologies. Orbiting fleets, now fully synchronized with super soldier squads, initiated a coordinated assault that was as breathtaking as it was devastating. Planetary defenses that had repelled entire armadas for centuries crumbled under the precision of human strategy. Missile volleys were intercepted with surgical accuracy, while boarding crafts descended through the storm clouds like falling comets, undeterred by the planet's magnetic turbulence. On the surface, super soldiers led assaults against fortified citadels, their enhanced abilities allowing them to traverse chasms of molten rock and scale towers of alien alloy as if gravity itself bent to their will. Entire regiments of Zytherian guards were neutralized with minimal losses, their advanced weaponry rendered obsolete against human adaptability. Tactical brilliance turned even seemingly hopeless engagements into victories, the humans exploiting every environmental factor and technological loophole. Meanwhile, orbital battles became a masterclass in fleet coordination. Human dreadnoughts, reinforced by retrofitted starships and adaptive AI, engaged in maneuvers that confounded alien algorithms. Alien flagship after flagship was disabled. Not by brute force alone, but by strategic exploitation of sensor blind spots, communication delays, and psychological warfare. The super soldiers even infiltrated command vessels, transmitting human presence as an omnipresent threat, turning fear into a weapon that struck deeper than any missile barrage. Civilian colonies within the throne world's reach watched in awe and terror as liberation forces dismantled alien rule. Systems once thought irrevocably lost were restored with astonishing speed. Energy grids, transport networks, and medical facilities came online under human guidance. These liberated populations, once cowed by centuries of oppression, rose to support the advancing forces, providing intelligence, repair assistance, and logistical aid. Humanity's resurgence was not only military but also cultural, a rebirth that redefined the galaxy's understanding of power. The Zytherian High Command attempted desperate countermeasures, but their fragmented fleets were too slow, their commanders too fearful. Every calculated retaliation fell into traps designed to exploit arrogance and predictability. Ships meant to flank human positions were ambushed, fleets intended to protect critical infrastructure found themselves isolated and destroyed. Humanity's planning, patience, and adaptability transformed the galaxy into a stage where every move was anticipated and every weakness exploited. As the super soldiers approached the throne citadel itself, the Zytherian species faced an existential reckoning. Their empire, once sprawling and invincible, now trembled under the precision and unity of human resolve. The final assault was a symphony of calculated aggression. Orbital bombardments softened defenses, infiltration squads disabled key installations, and human dreadnoughts engaged the enemy's core fleets. Resistance melted like ice under the relentless tide of human ingenuity. In the climactic moments, as the throne citadel's energy shields faltered and its command network collapsed, Captain Kane transmitted a single, resonant message to all remaining alien forces: humanity had returned. United and unstoppable. Across the galaxy, the legacy of centuries of human ingenuity, courage, and defiance was crystallized in a single, undeniable truth: no empire, no matter how ancient or advanced, could withstand the determination and intellect of humankind. And as the throne world fell, lights flickering across liberated cities and battle-scarred landscapes, the super soldiers raised their banners, not of conquest, but of reclamation. Humanity had risen from the brink of annihilation, proving that even in the darkest void, the human spirit could ignite a light that would never be extinguished. With the fall of the throne citadel, the galaxy seemed to exhale. The Zytherian Empire, once an unchallenged dominion spanning star systems, was reduced to scattered remnants, their fleets shattered, their command structure in ruins. Human forces, though weary, moved with a relentless purpose, stabilizing liberated worlds, securing critical systems, and offering protection to those who had suffered under alien rule for centuries. Every action, every decision, was guided by a principle that had defined humanity since its earliest steps into the stars: resilience, intelligence, and moral resolve. The super soldiers, now legends across countless worlds, patrolled the corridors of former alien fortresses, ensuring no remnants of tyranny could rise again. They were guardians, but also symbols, a reminder that humanity's strength was not only in firepower or numbers, but in adaptability, ingenuity, and the unwavering courage to act when others faltered. Orbital stations that had once been silent monuments to oppression now thrummed with human energy, networks repaired and repurposed, knowledge shared freely among liberated populations. In the outer systems, isolated alien enclaves attempted resistance, but found themselves confronting an opponent they had consistently underestimated. Human fleets, intelligent and precise, intercepted raids with uncanny anticipation. Tactical algorithms designed by human minds predicted enemy maneuvers, while pilots and commanders executed maneuvers that combined audacity with discipline. Even the most sophisticated alien warships fell to the combination of strategy, adaptability, and human intuition, proving that experience and ingenuity could outmatch raw technological advantage. On the ground, cities rose from ruins, once forbidden knowledge rediscovered and applied. Civilizations long subjugated began to thrive under human guidance, their cultures flourishing while contributing to a larger, united front. Engineers, medics, and scholars became as vital as soldiers, their work reinforcing the foundations of a galaxy now reclaiming hope. Humanity's defiance was evident not just in destruction of enemies, but in creation, restoring what had been lost and improving it beyond what the oppressors had ever imagined. At the heart of the galaxy, the throne world, now liberated, became a testament to what human resolve could achieve. Where alien banners had once flown, human symbols rose, representing unity, ingenuity, and the unyielding spirit of a species that refused to be crushed. History itself seemed to bend toward humanity as worlds once thought permanently enslaved now celebrated freedom, their inhabitants sharing stories of courage and brilliance that would echo for generations. And when the last vestiges of resistance were quelled, the super soldiers, the fleets, and the human pioneers gazed into the expanse of stars. They saw not conquest, but opportunity, a galaxy wide open to exploration, understanding, and guardianship. Humanity had proven its might, intelligence, and moral depth, and in doing so had secured a legacy that would endure as long as the stars themselves. And so, the universe learned that when humans rise, even the most formidable empires tremble, and the light of human courage burns brighter than any star.